Welcome to IGL Weekly, brought to you exclusively by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Give them a call at 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. We're tomorrow's Broadcasters Day. I'm pleased to be joined by Matt Coomer.
How you guys doing?
And TJ Grum.
Hola.
Sitting in for Eric Hauser and Sean Brown. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Our pleasure.
We're just a call away.
It's playoff time at the IGL, guys. Excited?
Oh, yeah.
Electricity at the Pylons this weekend. That's what it was.
Well, coming up on the show, can the defending champions keep momentum and advance?
Ooh.
Plus, we have game balls and top of the plays. But first, we have the Conshohocken Steelers and the Delaware Bucks in a wire-to-wire wild finish.
That's a lot of W's.
Yeah, it was almost a tongue twister.
Which team came away with the W?
Ooh.
Now, the game started off a little bit sloppy for the Bucks. Everything that went wrong possibly could have went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, really, outside of injuries, penalties, turnovers. I mean, really, name anything that you think could go wrong on a football field, and it went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things that actually happened was the defensive line never was disciplined enough to watch the ball, and there was a couple plays where they actually had a couple nice defensive plays that were brought back because of those offsides. I mean, as a defensive lineman, you're taught watch the ball. As a little leaguer, or I should say.
Now, why do you think they were unable to? They kept going offside. Was it maybe layoff, rust?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure. They are a very eager defensive line, and Conshohocken took advantage of that. You know, they were. I think very first play went on 2.
Yeah.
And then that entire drive. I mean, that drive took forever. It felt like because there's so many penalties. I think the Steelers had about 3, 4th and long or 3rd and longs, and just got first downs out of it.
Well, one thing I like about their defense is they're like a family. You hear them, they're all going, they celebrate together, but it did get them in trouble early, as we saw. You know, a lot of penalties, and you know what? They took advantage of it because the Steelers, they got off on a good start.
Yeah.
But the Steelers, Breon, Axel, they brought their A game, and they got touchdowns.
Yeah, right off the bat, you know, like you said, right off the bat, first drive ended up in a touchdown for him, put points on the board right away, and Buccaneers could not get started at all, offensively or defensively.
They looked like the experienced team as opposed to the Bucs, who didn't.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, the Steelers, they really took the game in their hands. They had the momentum in the beginning, and they really utilized that to their advantage. I mean, the Bucs, I feel like they were a little over antsy. They were excited to play the Steelers, and I feel like they needed to get that edge, which is why they were so excited and antsy on defense in the beginning.
Yeah, well, and you also got a point that head coach of the Steelers wasn't there, but their defensive coordinator, he stepped in, filled them admirably, did very well, did a great job. They're up 20-0 at that point. Is the game over, guys?
You know, Coach Carter of the New Jersey Bulldogs says they don't give out game balls at halftime, and they don't give them out before halftime either. You know, I feel the Steelers let off the gas way too soon, and little left in the second quarter. Hobby woke up.
Well, Hobby, he decided to join the party.
Yeah.
First play of the game, interception. Not a good start for him. He looked a little tentative out there, a little bit nervous, but as we show, he's a dual threat. And he came out swinging all for the fences.
Oh, yeah.
He had a nice couple plays, a nice couple runs, and there was 3 plays in a row where he ran.
And his feet took over the play.
So he's dual threat.
Yeah, you know, he's right up there. It took us a while to recognize him as such. You know, the Bucs struggled earlier in the season, so we didn't pay attention to him as much. But, you know, he's right up there with your Chris Brownlees, your Mike Merritts, your Abdul, your Muhammad's, your Tyreek Smith even.
Yep.
Just as explosive, just as athletic. So, you know, it's just a product of not being around your team's not helping you up. We're not being able to see the greatness that he has.
Yeah, and the greatness that he has was really shown in that game because on 4th down he had that one I think it was about a 20-yard run, which gave him just enough to get past the sticks, which really turned the game in the Bucs favor at that point in time.
Yeah, there was the momentum that got them.
Yeah.
And like you said, down 20-0 to a team that was in the IGL finals last year, a team that's proven. The Steelers are a good team. I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah.
They're a great team, and Hobby single-handedly brought them back to a 20-12 halftime score. So second half begins, and the Bucs begin where they left off, guys. Hobby throwing a beautiful ball to number 19, Rasheem McClendon. What happened there?
I mean, it was just a beautiful play, beautifully placed ball, beautiful catch. I mean, just a great play all around by the Bucs.
Yeah. And they're coming. They're striving. What are the Steelers going to do? Are they going to be able to hold them or what?
You would imagine from a team that's as experienced as this team, they were there last year. You would expect
But you got
them
some
to
new players, though.
You do, but at the same time, you have the same coaching staff.
Correct.
You have the same mentality of guys. We were there last year. We're going to get back there. We're going to do it ourselves, and the only people that can stop us are ourselves. Well, they got in their own ways.
They did. Miscommunication seems like all year between the center and Breon, whether it be him not holding on to the ball or giving it back, handing it off. It plagued them, not only in this game, but it's plagued them all year.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the key elements in football is the center getting the ball to the quarterback. That's how you start a play. That's how you run a play. And I don't know whether it's Breon, they don't either run enough snaps at practice, or Breon gets a little ahead of himself and tries to take his hands out without the ball. I mean, I'm not really sure what's happening there, but whatever it was, it came back and it bit the Steelers right in the butt.
So basically, now we move along in the game, guys. It's moving along. It's great. Bucks are coming back. Momentum's changed. Hobdy throws the ball. What happens?
It's called for a touchdown. I mean, they happened. I believe he had 3 touchdowns in the game. His third one, he throws the ball. He comes down, and the Bucks take over. And you felt, if you were in the building, which we were, you felt that just energy. It was ridiculous. For an IGL game, I haven't felt something like that from these IGL games during the regular season. So just imagine what the rest of the playoffs and the rest of this game was like.
Yeah, I mean, that was the third quarter, and the fans really got into it. I mean, they were going crazy. Both benches were going nuts. They were really cheering on their teammates. As you could really see the whole family mentality of the IGL teams really coming out in that. Like the Steelers trying to pick each other up, and the Bucks just really trying to build on their momentum that they already have.
So the Bucks are running away with the game, and basically we see what happens is Hobdy, he gets injured. It was what happened?
What makes Hobdy great is that his athleticism, his ability to run, be a dual threat. At the same time, when you're running out of that pocket's not. Those linemen aren't running with you. You don't have that same protection. And he got hit, and he took a shot to the knee. He only swelled up a little bit, and he was hobbled. And they took him out. They said, we're not. I don't know if it was him or the coaching staff deciding, hey, look, we have a better chance if you're not out there hobbling along. And so you saw he got replaced, and little bit change of the game.
Yeah, I mean that always happens when mobile quarterbacks, they always put themselves at risk to get hurt when they scramble outside the pocket, because like you said, there's no protection out there. They're trying to extend the play, and when you extend the play, you have free runners coming at you. I mean, it was really unfortunate to see him go down, but the quarterback stepped in. He really came out and did exactly what they asked him to do.
And he did. He threw a couple good passes. He even ran the ball a couple times. He, like you said, he did what he needed to do, and the coaches, they were impressed because you know what? As we're going to see later, Hobdy may come back. He may or may not, but I'm guessing he does. So, a little teaser, guys. So, but so basically, we have the last couple minutes of the game. The score is 30-20 at this point.
Bucks.
30-20 Bucks at this point.
The wave of momentum is riding high, and it's
game's over. Let's pack it up. Let's tie it up, right?
Oh no, sir.
Matt?
No, not today.
Really? What happens?
I mean, they're the Steelers, man. You can't count them out. They are that veteran
They
team.
got some fight?
They are that team that went to the championship last year. They are that team that can come together at any point in time and really step up and bring a game back to a game. And boy, did they ever!
Yeah, that game it flipped the switch. That's a 3-part act, play. First act, all Steelers. Second act, all Bucks. That last act, just back and forth. It starts with the Steelers. They scored a touchdown and got it within 4 points. Wide open, wide receiver was wide open right in the middle of the end zone. He's beating the screen for the zone that they had. Breon finds him, zips it in there, touchdown, failed 2-point conversion. And all of a sudden, we got a game.
It's Mark Barrynet, correct?
Mark Barrynet, yes.
Barrynet.
And we get something that we haven't seen in the IGL. Nothing like this kind of back and forth.
The last 2 minutes, I'm going to say, were probably the most exciting 2 minutes
in IGL this season by far.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me finishing your sentence
yes,
for you.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
It was the most exciting 2 minutes I've seen of football since the NFL ended. And I mean, that game was just absolutely unbelievable what happened those last 2 minutes.
I had 6 people I was going to interview from the 2-minute mark, and it changed to about 15 people from the minute and a half mark to the end of the game, which tells you how crazy this game is. And I don't want to scan over this. Like, I want the viewers to know who are not in the building, this game was electric. Like, back and forth, electric. 30-26, Steelers are coming back. I think the Bucs coaches, they took the gas.
There was a turnover on downs by the Bucs on their next possession directly after the
They were giving the game away.
After the Steelers touchdown. Steelers take over about midfield. Breon throws a pick. Something that becomes is almost Breon-like. You almost had that feeling it might have happened. Unfortunately,
Number 3, Joseph Stencil.
And he picked it off.
Great game, by the way.
Terrific game. Picked it off almost close to the Bucs' own end zone. Brings it out to about the 3 or 4 yard line. And then I gotta wonder what was going through the Bucs head coach. I really do, because the first play they were going for a run. Try to go outside. Now there's a lot that can happen with an outside run, as we saw throughout the game.
Correct.
A lot of outside runs, balls getting swatted because of running backs. He's got to get outside before he's actually got the ball. This is what happens. Running back hits his hands, fumbles. One of the Bucs linemen fall on it, but the clock stops because there was a fumble. So next play, quarterback, you take the ball out of the halfback's hand, put in the quarterback sneak. The Steelers sniffed it out, saw it coming, stuffed it.
Yeah. So basically, they stops them 2 in a row, and
in
then
the shadow of their own goal line.
and then they throw a bomb, which what you do on first down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had him beat. That's not the coach. He had him beat.
It was just a stab it over.
At that point, you're at third and in the shadow of your own goal. You got to get a first down.
And the thing is, though, if
end the game and also keep them away from scoring.
Yeah.
And the deep bomb, incomplete pass, time doesn't go. You don't gain any yards, and you got one down, and the team knows it. The Steelers are putting their guys.
You could
all
hear
8 of their guys.
In the box.
Put them in the sticks. Put them at the first go. Like, have them go by us.
Yeah.
Have them try to beat us to the stick, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
In fact, they go for a pass. Quarterback scrambling, just gets out of his own end zone to prevent a safety.
Yeah, and after that safety, it was first down, and you give it to Axel. Axel's going to score at the 1. So the Steelers come back, and we might have had those 2 touchdowns flipped from the Axel touchdown and the receiving touchdown. But they go up and they go up 2. They go up 32 to 30.
32-30. There's, I want to say, $1:15 left. Game's over. No.
No, there was 36 seconds left.
36
seconds left.
Yeah.
And do you know who comes back? Hobdy. He shows why he is one of the elite quarterbacks of the IGL. Throws a bomb.
And the Steelers defended it pretty well. Their
Oh,
guys
they
were
did.
on them. Hobdy and the receiver just made a play.
Yeah, he just went up and got it.
Shy McBride.
McBride reaches, takes it, scores, and the place. And we thought it was going wild. It went wild. You had players from other teams that had no affiliation with either of the sides were going wild, and it cost the Bucs apparently an excessive celebration because, including those players from the sidelines, some of the fans getting involved in the celebration. Some of the players on the Bucs sidelines came sprinting off before the end of the play. Excessive celebration. That got tacked on to the following kickoff, which the Steelers brought to about the 25-yard line. So you add another 10 yards. They're on the 15.
They stopped. The Bucs stepped up.
0
Their
points.
defense stepped up. Great game by the Bucs, and they win a wild end-to-end game, 36-32.
The Bucs deserve that win. The way that they came back after such a horrendous start, a lot of other teams would have packed it in.
Yeah.
You
A lot
know
of
what?
heart.
You know what? The Steelers and this guy, and you know what? And the Steelers gave this game away.
Yeah.
You could, I wouldn't say they choked because they didn't have a chance to choke. There was too much time to allow a team to choke. They gave this game away. They had it 20 to nothing. And yes, it's the IGL. Anything happen real quick, but when you're the Steelers, the defending runner-up team from last year, and you have one of the better defenses, you're one of the bigger teams, you're one of the more athletic offenses in the league, more balanced teams as well, you should not let a team come back from 20 to nothing, score 30 on you, and have to force yourself to come back within the last 2 minutes.
But you know what, though? Bucks deserve this win.
Oh, yeah.
And
I fully
they
agree.
did well.
And they didn't deserve it. They earned it.
Yep.
They forced that. I mean, some of the Steelers turnovers, they weren't just giveaway turnovers. I mean, they threw Brown Shelton. I believe he threw 3 picks, and I mean, you don't just throw 3 picks and they're all lucky.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Bucks, their defense, they had Breon run around all
Yeah.
day. And I think the Bucks just that they stepped up. Whatever happened, and I mean, right before the halftime and at halftime, really clicked in their head, and they got their momentum just kept them going throughout the game. And I mean, they're playing the Bulldogs.
They got
They
their
won.
matchup. They got the Bulldogs next week.
Yeah.
So as we'll touch on later in the show, we'll talk the matchup between the Bulldogs and the Bucks. We have the defending Hornets here, the championship team of last year against the Camden Lions. Was it a good
First-
game or what?
You know, it got off to a late
Yeah.
start.
Why? Why did you get off to a late start?
Well, Camden didn't have enough guys.
Yeah, which didn't really make much sense. They had 8 at 1:30, and they waited till 2 to start the game, and they had 10, and then they ended up with 12.
Okay.
So the fact that they only had 8 players, and you need 9 to suit up for 1 sub, 8 players at a playoff game. It's the playoffs. How do you not wake yourself up for a playoff game? The quarterback wasn't there. Manny Kobosky wasn't there, and that was, I mean, storyline 1 of the entire game. They were undersized. They didn't have a team. I mean, Josh Boyd started at quarterback for the Camden Lions.
You could say this was the start of the game. This has kind of been Camden's season. I've been a big component and a big advocate of Camden all year. They were 0-3, then they got to 2-3, 3-3, and I'm like, this team's good. They got heart. I'm a big fan of Boyd. I was a fan of Kabasa. But they continue to let me down because of stuff like this.
It's all right. It happened.
It's bothersome because they have talent. And you know what? The Hornets are a great team. They're defending champions. But Camden, if they bring it,
They can bring
they
it.
can
Oh,
bring
yeah.
it.
They can absolutely bring it.
If they brought enough guys, they could have brought it. But I mean, the fact is, they only had 8 guys at 1:30 when the game was supposed to kick off.
So is that
You
the coaches? Is that the play? Like, what? Why are they not getting enough guys? That's
know
what I
what?
want to know.
It could be the coaches, but at the same time, if you're telling somebody, hey, you got to be here, but it's falling on deaf ears, or they don't want to be here, they're not going to show up.
No ownership, maybe no one's taking
You know,
pride in the team.
Yeah, you know, the guys who showed up obviously want this opportunity to play in the IGL, move on, get seen, go get promoted, but those are the only 8 guys.
Yeah.
And you didn't see some of the better talent there. I don't know everybody's story, but Kabasa's they're one of the best players. Him and Boyd are
Yeah.
probably the best players on the team, and he wasn't there.
Well, the wide receiver, number 1, Casper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrence
He wasn't-
Casper wasn't there, the big wide receiver. So, well, let's get to the game, guys. So, James Robinson takes advantage of no Kabasa. Boyd starting at center, gets a pitch, throws it right to James Robinson.
And James Robinson just lightning quick right to the end zone, 6-0 right off the bat. I mean, it just looked like he was bad from the very beginning. They just, I mean, you don't have a quarterback, you're tossing off, you're down 6, you got the ball first. In the first play you run, you're down 6.
And I want to highlight it, number 28 on Camden. But he's a young guy and he's quick. And he, on every single one of their kickoff returns,
He brought it, yeah.
he got the ball, I want to say probably to 26 of the other teams.
Yeah.
And he was going. He was good.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. They weren't starting in terrible position.
No.
You know, throughout the entire game, they had good position. It's just, you know, I think special teams is the best facet of their game. You know, this past week, and that shouldn't be the case.
No, I agree. Who's starting at quarterback, guys? Abdullah or Panasuk?
I'm going with the guy who brought me to the dance. I'm going with Abdullah.
Abdul was there all season. I think he deserves a shot to start.
All right. Well, Panasuk did start at quarterback.
Of course.
No, I'm just kidding. Abdullah started.
Okay.
And he was a little shaky. Fumbled snaps, again, which kind of were the theme of the day.
Yeah.
But he did get his legs working early and
Yeah.
scored a touchdown.
Yeah, doing what Abdullah does best. You know, moving around, throwing the ball around, finding his receivers. You know, whether they're open or not, he finds a way to get it to them, which has kind of bit him in the bum the last couple of games, forcing balls in
Yeah.
there. But didn't happen this week.
I love when he runs the ball that he runs and he looks for contact.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that tries. I mean, he'll make you miss, but I feel like every single one of his rushing touchdowns this season have been up the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's at the 10 yards deep, 5 yards deep, but I feel like he's always standing up at right at this middle field, right at the goal line, just standing and walking in the end zone. He's impressive when he moves his legs because when you're trying to hit him, you gotta try and actually tackle him because he will bounce
He's
off.
a tough guy. He's
Yeah.
a tough guy, which is good, what you want in a quarterback.
Yeah.
So they're taking over Now the defense of the Hornets is taking over the game.
Mm-hmm.
They are playing extremely well. Now, is it the defense of the Hornets, or is it the offensive line and lack of players of Camden?
I think it was the lack of the lack of players
Correct.
that Camden had. But then again, the Hornets really woke up for this game, and their defense really showed it. You got to remember that the Lions only played with 12 players all game,
Yep.
and they played at the Pinelands. They didn't play at the Well. So Pineland Sports Center, it's humid in there, man. It's like 100 and some degrees. We're breaking a sweat on this island, not even playing.
Yeah.
So I feel like that it was endurance, it was stamina. They got hot, they got like whatever. And when you got guys running at you that are rotating all game, they're fresh, and it really gets into you. And plus, they didn't have a quarterback, a guy that could actually move that ball down the field and knew everything what to do, and had a quick release to get the ball out. So I mean, I think it was a factor of one of those. Every single one of those facets of the game.
It is what it is. They making a game out of it. They did score, nice, pretty play, and the game. It's 22-8 at halftime.
The Hornets still had their foot on the throat of the Lions. They had their stinger, if you will, on the throat.
Nice analogy. I like that.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, the Hornets never ever stopped all day. I mean, they just kept piling points. They were up by so much, and I mean, they just kept passing the ball. They kept putting points on the board. They kept doing everything they needed to do as a team to really beat down the Lions.
Now, Passanut comes in and throws a beautiful ball to Damon Ing. Damon Ing is one of the greatest receivers probably in the IGL. He's top 3-4. I know he came up to us and said, how were we not mentioned? He was mentioned. Damon, you're a stud, buddy. So, makes a great catch, but he's injured on the play.
This is one of those. That's one of the things you don't want in the playoffs. Not one of your impact players.
Number one receiver down.
Yeah, I mean, he's a huge playmaker for that team. And when the ball goes up in the air, he's usually one there to catch it, and he's going to make you miss if he does catch the ball. So them losing Ing is going to be huge. Is going to be huge. And I actually talked to him after the game, and he said that it doesn't seem like it's going to be an injury that he can come back from. But I mean, all hopes and everything to Ing for hopefully a speedy recovery, and we'll see you next week, hopefully.
Well, we'll definitely hope for a speedy recovery. So, well, as we mentioned, Camden gets on the number 4 touchdown run. The momentum's coming. It's halftime. What are they going to do in the second? What adjustments do they need in the second half? Let's be honest. They need a lot of adjustments.
They need to sign some people off the street and give out some shoulder pads.
Well, let's be honest. You can't do that.
You can't. But I mean, that's really. I mean, like you said, they've got some heart. I said it on this show. They've got probably the most heart. At least the players who are showing up, and we've been let down. But of those 8 guys that showed up, if you get some guys that can at least give these guys some plays off, they're not going to be as tired. They're not going to be as exhausted and be able to play at a higher level throughout the game. They needed a longer halftime really to get more wind in their lungs.
Yeah, because there was a couple players that were in the air-conditioned area because they needed to breathe because you can't breathe in there.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're sweating and we're not even playing. We're just analyzing in video camera, doing the stuff, the media stuff. So, the second half begins, guys, and number 8, Steve Panasuk, throws a nice bomb to number 1, who is our boy, and does a nice spin move for the touchdown.
I mean, he didn't just do a spin move. He did a juke. I think he did a backstep. I mean, he made, I think, 5 guys miss, and then he looked like he was playing Madden at that spin move. The guy just went literally right by him. He was just, whoop! Chris Berman, just straight up. It was something that I could watch over and over and over and over again and never get sick of it. It was extra impressive.
I'm pretty sure you did make sure you can watch it over and over again, didn't you?
Yeah, I put it on my cell phone. I already showed a bunch of my friends.
So, Panasuk coming off the bench, playing really well, but Abdullah, we're not giving him the props that he deserves. 2 more rushing touchdowns.
For a quarterback, that's kind of messing with you when you're getting, quarterbacks are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
They need to make sure that they're in every play. Both these guys are selfless. They both know that, if the other one has it. If I'm not in the game, I know that guy has it. I trust that he's going to make the right choice. He's going to make the right play. And you see that a lot between the both of them. So Abdullah coming in, he doesn't have to worry about, when he's out, oh man, I gotta make up for it. He doesn't. He's just got to do his job and trust in his teammates to do their jobs, and then everything's good.
Yeah, and they were both. I mean, when Passanuk was in and Abdullah was in, the other guy was on the sideline rooting them on. And I think it really does play into the Hornets' advantage when you play Abdullah one series and then Passanuk the other series, because or he. I mean, they don't play exactly the same. Abdullah is more of a drop back. He's more of a drop back, and he's more of a likely to rush the ball. Although. I mean, he didn't do it all that well, but I mean, he still scored 2 touchdowns. He made plays, and he.
Panasuk's more of a pocket passer.
Exactly, and although Panasuk did have a really nice run for about 20 yards, but I mean, either way, they're both not exactly the same quarterback, so it really messes with the defense mentality.
Do you think there's a quarterback controversy?
No, I don't, because of how both quarterbacks are taking it.
Okay.
Both quarterbacks are very, like TJ said, selfless, and they're not. They're both rooting each other on, and I think they're a family, and they want to come back and win that championship for the Hornets again this year.
Well, it's 42-8. The game's it's over at that point. What were some things bothered me about?
TJ wants to start.
Yeah,
TJ, go at it.
Now, don't go on too much.
It's all right.
We have time constraints, but
No.
it bothered me too. So
You're up a lot.
yeah.
I don't care the math as far as all that stuff. You're up a lot. You just saw what your best receiver to a team that's not going to win.
Yeah.
There's no chance that they're coming back in the fourth quarter. They are up big. They just had their number one receiver go down, maybe for the rest of the playoffs. And you're going to leave in your quarterbacks, the rest of your receivers, your linemen, and then on defense you're going to have your linebackers, your corners, your linemen there. They even had Brandon Lee, who's normally a defensive lineman, in playing offensive line.
Yeah.
You're up
Why?
big. Why? I asked around the league, according to some players who were around last year, they put up the most points on record in a single game. Their coaches want to break that record. That's fine. That's all good. But don't you want to win a championship? Well, you can't do that if you're missing players because your guys are going to. I mean, I remember they threw a slant to Patrick McKenna, number 6, Sunshine. And one of the corners for the Camden went low, went to his knees. They're lucky that he didn't hit him square in the knee and Sunshine's down. They're lucky. And that's just, if you can say here it didn't hurt us, but
It did.
It can, and it probably will if they keep it up. If you're winning big, take your guys out, rest up. Unless there's a championship. If that's the case, and you want to do it in the championship, that's fine. There's no other game to play after that.
Yeah.
But you want to go further. You want to defend that. You're not going to defend it if all your guys are hurt.
Yeah.
Another thing, I mean, they kicked an onside kick in the fourth quarter with a minute left. That's self-explanatory. It says for itself. Yeah. You kick an onside kick with a minute left. You obviously want to run the score up, and even though it's playoffs,
it's not good.
No.
But you know what? They've got a game against ASI Panthers next week. Should be a good game. Panasuk's old agent, correct? Bill Mattis.
Yeah.
So should be a good game. On an unfortunate note, 29-year-old Jason Patterson was carted off the field due to a concussion. It was hot. He had previous concussions. 3 weeks ago, he was actually in the hospital. Probably shouldn't have been playing. I don't think he was medically cleared to play. What are we gonna do with that?
I mean, I can't do it. It happened. There's nothing we could have done.
Who's at fault? Camden's head coach.
There's a lot of fault going around. There's a lot of people you can point and say, you can't blame the player. He's trying to play to further his career. He wants to play
he's one of the 12. He's one of the 12 that showed up at Camden. You got to remember that.
And I can't blame him. Maybe if I was in his shoes and if I had a concussion 3 weeks ago, I wasn't medically cleared. Maybe I would say, this isn't exactly the right choice to do because if something happens, then any shot I had is all gone. At the same time, you don't know who's there watching.
Yeah.
So
let's hope he's all right. James, we're hoping you're all right. So we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we have preview of the semifinal action of the IGL playoffs. Stay tuned right here on IGL Weekly.
So you've been thinking about changing careers? Well, now is the perfect time to check out Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Discover the exciting world of audio and video production. They have a campus right here in Cherry Hill.
Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or visit gocsb.com.
And we're back here, IGL playoff preview. Darren Wimberg.
TJ Grum.
Matt Coomer.
We're talking playoffs, guys.
Semifinals.
Final four teams.
Two great games. I mean, it's gonna be exciting.
It's a final countdown.
There's no doubt.
So we have the
Final
ASI
four.
Panthers against the defending champions, Philadelphia Hornets.
It's going to be one heck of a game. Two of the top teams, the Hornets, as far as I am informed, were the division champs for the Champions League.
Yep.
Panthers second in the Gladiators. The Panthers only lost one game, though, to the Bulldogs.
Correct.
It's going to be one. If the Panthers, like I said earlier, if the Panthers are fully healthy, or at least fully equipped, they have Foxworth, they have Osborne, they have these other guys that left midway through the season, they'll be a very tough team to beat.
Okay.
I don't want to throw a cliche out there, but I kind of have to in this game. I think the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win this game.
Thanks, Gruden.
It's just the way I see it playing out because, I mean, they're both great teams, both quarterback. I guess all three quarterbacks really hold on the ball. And it's going to come down to offensive line play. If the defense, whose defense can actually step up and make plays to cause the other team to get turnovers.
Well, ASI is without their starting quarterback. Marcellus Salmons came on 2 weeks ago. A little bit shaky. Their quarterback play, if they don't have, I'm not even going to say great because their defense is outstanding. You give them adequate quarterback play, don't make mistakes, don't turn the ball over. If you go 3 and out, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You throw a bomb and it gets picked off. If you can tackle them right away, it's kind of like kicking the ball off.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. It might go as a pick, but it's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Don't make mistakes, but I think it revolves around the quarterback play of this Panthers.
I think for both these teams, it's not of not making mistakes. You're in the Final Four. You got good teams. You're going to make mistakes. The fact is, you need to minimize them and make sure that your opponents don't capitalize on them. Like you said, the Panthers' defense is a ball hawking defense.
Yep.
They've picked off. Week 1 they played the Hornets and they picked off Muhammad 5 times, forced him another fumble for 6 total turnovers in one game. They've done that to everybody though. So it's one of these things. They haven't faced off since week 1, so now we're going to see a change between these teams, especially, you have Panasuk coming back for the Hornets. You got some guys missing, Osborne, the
But
key
they
piece.
might be coming back, though.
They might be.
So.
But, if they come back, then this is going to be, like I said, one heck of a game. But if it's not, it's going to be a little bit more challenging for the Panthers to come out with a win.
I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as most IGL games are going to be. I think it's going to be low scoring. I don't think any team's going to get over 30 points. That's a shot in the dark, but it really comes down. Both defenses are really good. The Hornets defense, what they did to the Lions. It was anything short but impressive.
Who wins? And why?
Who wins and why? The Hornets, because the champions. They're going to wake up. They're going to be ready. They're going to come out and they want to go and they want to defend their belt.
I'd say flip a coin, but I know you're going to make me choose.
Yep.
I'm going to go. You got to go with the champs because until somebody knocks them off, they're still the champs. It's going to be. I think your prediction of neither team scoring more than 30 points is probably going to come true. But the Hornets, they're healthier, and they've got this chemistry now, and they've woken up. The Camden game should be the way that was. All right, guys, we're here. Let's go through the playoffs. It's time to play now.
Yeah, they looked really good against Camden.
They did. Well, I'm going to go against you guys.
Okay.
I'm going with ASI, Coach Mattis, that team. They've been off. Any injuries, the time is going to help them. Hopefully Osborne comes back. And Foxworth. So if they come back, it'll be a great game. Either way, you heard it first, IGL Weekly. Take the under in the game.
Yeah. Take the under by a lot.
So it'll be a great game either way. So next matchup, we have the Bulldogs, New Jersey.
Number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed, undefeated New Jersey Bulldogs. The team everyone loves to hate. Let's be honest, they love to hate.
I don't know. The Steelers gave him a run for money this past week against the Bucs. Everybody was behind the Bucs.
Yeah. Against the upstart, who I think is the second best team in the league, the Bucs.
Hey, the team that everybody loved last week. We're going to see how everybody feels, but they've played twice prior. The first time was close. Second time not so much. The first time there was a lot of defensive pass interference calls. Yep. They've made these Bulldogs, with adjustments. They don't do that as often. If they get any penalty to illegal formation because the guy's too far into the gap or an offside from time to time. So I think it's going to be a great game because if Hobby's knee is feeling better and if it's it's not as big as swollen. Dual threat quarterbacks have caused a problem for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I really think it's going to come down to Hobby's knee. If he plays and he can be 190% and he can do what he can do, he's gonna put the Bulldogs defense. I don't want to say on their heels because the Bulldogs defense is going to come at you regardless, no matter who you have. I think it's going to come down to his knee and on the offensive line play of the Bucs. You got Marquise Cloven coming at you, and he's the biggest guy, biggest defensive lineman in the league, and he'll hurt you. And if he gets the Hobby,
Lights out. I think the biggest thing for me is, and this is in all sports, when you have such an emotional win that the Bucks had, you have a letdown, and it's natural. We try not to make a natural progression of it, but it happens. It happens on all levels of sports. You have this big emotional win, and you're on a high. You're on a euphoric high, and you come and show up to the game, and you just lay a duck.
Yeah.
And that is, for me, the biggest thing that I'm worried about the Bucks. Forget about Hobby. He's a gamer. He showed last week he's a gamer.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
My biggest thing is, are they going to be able to get up and match the intensity of the Bulldogs, who are chomping at the bit to play? They haven't played in a month.
This is the second time this season that they've only played one game in a span of 20 days.
Correct.
So, I mean, they were a little hurt after the Conshohocken game. If any bruises are gone now.
They're healthy.
Yeah, so, and if anything showed when they're healthy, not even when they were banged up throughout the season, and they still were putting up points. They're now healthy. It's
Well,
scary.
and Hobby better watch out, because if he throws anywhere near number 6, Denzel,
Nobody throws
my
at
boy.
Denzel. Nobody throws at Denzel.
he's got his own island. He's a great corner, and he's probably one of the best corners in the league. So you throw the ball anywhere in that direction, but they got another good corner on the other side.
Yeah.
So if he runs the ball with any success, as you mentioned, they do have a problem. The Bulldogs defense does have a problem with dual threat quarterbacks.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who is going to cover DeJon Thomas on the Bucks? Who can, really?
Let's be honest, no one can cover
No.
DeJon Thomas. Their best bet,
Let's get to Mike as soon as
yeah,
possible.
get to Mike and get hands up in the face, because their offensive line, number 90, and they got, I can't remember his name, and B more, John Johnson, correct. Guy's a beast.
Yeah.
So they get to the line. You know what? Mike, he's great. We all know his completion percentage is
Right.
ridiculous.
Skyrocket.
So you get to him, he can throw the ball away. But DeJon, I don't know. You don't play a man-on-man. You have a safety deep. You have someone there, because you play one-on-one, it's game over.
Now, I want to go back to what you said about the letdown that the Bucks are going to try to avoid. I think that the Bucks can avoid that. I mean, I remember being in there that first win against the Steelers week 1, going into that locker room, getting the post game talk that they're just together. They're all together. They do different chants.
Me familiar. You see him on the
Yeah.
sidelines,
Yeah.
all which is good. That's
Yeah,
good. But the
but-
Bulldogs are like that, though.
Very true, but I mean that will help them to avoid this
A letdown.
letdown, because they're going to be like, guys, let's go. We know it's business. This is the number 1 team. If you don't get up for the number 1 team, how are you going to get up for the championship if you can get by them?
All right.
Yeah, I mean, one thing the Bucks and the advantage that they might have is what they always say is it's hard to beat one team 3 times in the same season.
That's true.
So that might have an advantage that the Bucks might have towards the Bulldogs. But then again, you don't know what Coach Starks. You don't know the game plan Coach Starks is going to roll out.
That's true. Who wins and why?
You know what? Nobody's been able to beat them. I got to go with the Bulldogs. I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think.
What's the score?
I'm going to go 40s, somewhere in the 40s. I really think so. And some people might listen to that like, oh, wow, the defense of the Bulldogs giving up 40 points. Dual threat.
Yeah.
And as well as special teams. It's also.
Who wins and why?
I have the Bulldogs winning. Like you said, no one covered John Thomas, and the only way to cover him is to get the Michael Merritt, and you can't get the Michael Merritt that offensive line the Dogs have. So I see everything stacking up in the Bulldogs' favor in this game. I do think it's going to be close, a lot closer than people think. It's not going to be a blowout, but the Bulldogs will come out on top.
I love the Bucks. I've not been a fan of the Bucks, but I love the Bucks. After watching them yesterday and the last couple weeks, wow. I am intrigued. I think Hobby's injured, but he will get up for it. I think they lose, though. I think the Bulldogs win, and I don't think it's going to be as close as everyone thinks. I think it's going to be 15 points. So we'll see. You know what? That's all the time we have here. We have game balls coming up. Game ball of the week. Who is it?
Number 10, Hornets, Mr. Robinson. He played
James Robinson.
James Robinson. He played a great game. I mean, he took the Hornets, set the tone right away. 6 points right off the bat, and he had a pick in that game. He had a couple sacks. He played. He was all over the field that game, and he set the tone with the Hornets, and they ran with it all day.
Nice.
I'm getting into Joseph Stenzel Number 3 for the Bucks, some clutch plays. You know, you were saying Hobby and offense. That defense made sure the Steelers didn't score again, and he was a big portion of the reason why.
That's it. I'm going with Dom Hobdy, quarterback. Came back after he was injured, and you know what? It led their team to a victory. Yep, game-winning touchdown. So, for Matt Coomer, TJ Drum, I'm Darren Wimberg. Remember, stay tuned here, youtube.com/IGL Weekly for more interviews and up-to-date reports. Log on Fridays for the show of next week's episode. We'll see you next time on IGL Weekly, presented by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. See you next week.